Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. Men are not always the best at expressing themselves. You see, a woman, when she misses you, she'll text, she'll call, she'll send a little stranger message. But a man, oh no, a man can be missing you with his whole heart and won't say a single word. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real. You ever notice how men can do a whole lot without ever saying a thing? See, that's because men are built different. When it comes to emotions, we don't always talk about how we feel, we show it. And half the time, women be thinking we don't care, when really we just don't say it like y'all do. A man's heart don't speak the same language. Our love language is in what we do, not always what we say. Now, I know what some of y'all ladies are thinking. Steve, if he loves me, he should just tell me. Yeah, that makes sense, but let me break it down. Most men grow up in a world that tells them to be tough. For the time we're little boys, we're told, don't cry, man up, handle it. So by the time we become grown men, we've learned to lock those feelings up tight. We don't always have the words ready because nobody ever taught us how to use them. But when we care about you, when we miss you, we start showing you in ways that don't need words. A man will drive across town just to fix your flat tire. That's love. He'll make sure you got home safe, text you, you good. That's love. He'll remember that one thing you said months ago and then surprise you with it later. That's not coincidence, that's effort. That's how men talk when their hearts can't find the right words. You see, when a man loves you, he's a doer. He'll protect you, provide for you, show up when it counts. And while he might not say, I miss you, out loud, his actions will speak louder than any text message ever could. You ever notice how a man who's into you starts fixing things around your house that don't even need fixing? That man ain't trying to be your handyman. He's trying to be there. That's his way of saying, I care about you. I want to make your life easier. Because for a man, being useful is a form of love. We don't need flowers and poems. We show love by doing. You got a problem. We want to solve it. You need help. We show up. We may not talk about it for hours, but we'll move mountains just to see you smile. Now, ladies, here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes y'all mistake a man's silence for lack of emotion. You think if he's not texting paragraphs or posting about you online, he's not feeling you. But that's not always the truth. Some of the quietest men are the ones who feel the deepest. They just don't always know how to translate what's in their heart into words. So instead, they let their actions speak. You might not hear, I miss you, but you'll feel it when he checks in on your day. You might not hear, I love you, but you'll see it when he sacrifices his comfort just to make sure you're okay. Men have this unspoken rule. We express emotions through movement. If a man is doing something for you, that's his heart in motion. We ain't sitting around trying to come up with romantic speeches. We're thinking, what can I do to make her happy? That's why when a man truly misses you, he'll start showing up in small ways. Maybe he texts you something random like, you still like that coffee place. Or maybe he sends you a song that reminds him of you. That's his way of saying, you're on my mind, without having to spell it out. And let me tell you something, ladies. If a man doesn't care, he won't do nothing. You'll see the difference real quick. When a man is done, his silence ain't thoughtful. It's empty. But when a man misses you, that silence got energy. You can feel it. It's in those late, night messages, those random "I saw this and thought of you" moments. That's emotion in motion. A lot of men think words are dangerous territory. They're scared to say too much and get it wrong. But they'll show you. They'll keep a picture of you in their phone long after you stop talking. They'll bring up your name in conversations just to feel close. They'll look out for your friends, check in with your family. Because for a man, caring isn't just about telling you. It's about proving it. I remember one time a brother told me, "Steve, I can't tell her how I feel. I'm not good with words." I said, "Then show her." And he did. That man started helping her study for her exams, cooked her dinner when she was too tired, drove her to work every morning. And guess what? That woman felt loved deeply, even before he ever said, "I love you." Because love ain't just something you hear, it's something you see. Now, ladies, when you got a man like that, pay attention. Don't overlook the small things because they ain't wrapped in big speeches. When he opens your car door, when he checks if you ate, when he worries about your safety, those are his love notes. That's him saying, "You matter to me." You might be waiting for words, but he's already speaking a whole language you ain't hearing yet. And fellas, let's be real. We got to do better, too. Sometimes actions are enough, but sometimes a woman needs to hear it. So while we're out here showing love, it don't hurt to speak it once in a while. Because even though our actions mean a lot, women still need reassurance. But the beauty of it all is when both sides meet in the middle. When she learns to see your actions as love, and you learn to use your words as confirmation. But until then, ladies, don't think a man doesn't care just because he's quiet. Pay attention to his patterns. If he shows up when it counts, if he remembers the little things, if he takes time out of his day just to check on you, that man feels something. He might not be shouting it from the rooftops, but his heart is talking through his actions. Because at the end of the day, real men don't always talk love. They live it. They show it through effort, protection, consistency, and care. It might come in poetry or long conversations, but it's real. It's steady. It's that quiet type of love that don't need attention to be genuine. So when you're wondering how a man feels, don't just listen to what he says. Watch what he does. Because men, ladies and gentlemen, express emotions not with words, but with everything they choose to do when nobody's watching. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about silence. See, silence is a strange thing, especially when it comes from a man. When a man goes quiet, it doesn't always mean he doesn't care. Sometimes it means he's thinking. Sometimes it means he's feeling more than he knows how to say. And sometimes it means he's missing somebody so bad that words just won't do justice to what's going on inside his heart. A man's silence ain't always empty. Most of the time, it's full of thoughts, full of memories, full of that space you used to fill. When a man truly misses you, he doesn't always pick up the phone. He doesn't always say, "Hey, I miss you." No, he sits in that quiet moment, scrolls through old pictures, listens to songs that remind him of you, and feels every second of that emptiness. That's his way of missing you silently, deeply, and completely. You see, men are taught early to control their emotions. The world tells us, don't be too sensitive, don't cry, don't show weakness. So, when we start missing somebody, we don't run to talk about it. We sit with it. We replay conversations in our heads. We think about all the things we could have said but didn't. We remember your laugh, your smile, the way you said our name. We keep that to ourselves because silence feels safer than vulnerability. But that silence is loud, believe me. It's a language all on its own. Sometimes a man's silence is his version of a love letter. You won't see it written down, but you'll feel it when he starts showing up in little ways. He might start liking your old photos just to feel connected. He might text you a random, "Hey," after weeks acting casual, but that one word got a whole story behind it. He's saying, "I miss you." But he's saying it through silence and small actions because he doesn't know how to say it out loud without losing that guard he's built around his heart. Now, women often misunderstand that silence. You think he's moved on, that he's cold, that he don't care. But sometimes that silence is him fighting himself, wanting to reach out but stopping because of pride, fear, or pain. Men carry a quiet kind of hurt. When we miss you, it sits heavy. We'll keep busy, go to work, hang with the fellas, watch the game. But that thought of you still creeps in between the noise. It's like no matter how loud life gets, there's always that quiet voice in the back of our minds saying,
"Man,
I miss her." And when a man truly misses you, he might not talk about it, but it'll show. He'll bring your name up in random conversations, not even realizing he's doing it. He'll drive by the places y'all used to go, pretending he just ended up there. He'll hear a song and his whole mood will shift. That's the power of missing somebody silently. It changes a man's energy. You can see it in his eyes, even when his mouth stays shut. Let me tell you, a man's silence after losing someone he cares about ain't peace. It's processing. It's his way of trying to understand where it went wrong, what he could have done better, or if he should reach out. He'll go back and forth in his mind. Should I call her? Should I leave her be? And 9 times out of 10, he won't make that call. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he doesn't know how to handle what might come after it. Men fear rejection more than they admit. So they sit in silence, loving you from afar, missing you in ways you'll never see. Sometimes that silence is his apology. He might not have the courage to say, "I'm sorry." But he's thinking about it. He's remembering the argument, the words said in anger, the moment you walked away. And instead of saying it, he carries it quietly, hoping somehow you feel it. That's the kind of missing that don't need sound. It lives in the pauses, the long nights, the moments he stares at his phone but can't press send. You ever had a man disappear, then come back acting like nothing happened? That's not arrogance. That's confusion. That's him saying, "I missed you," in the only way he knows how. Because in his world, silence is not absence. Silence is space to think, to feel, to regret. And when he finally reappears, that's his way of saying, "I never really left in my heart." Ladies, sometimes a man's silence is the most honest thing about him. It's the moment when all the pretending stops, when he's not trying to impress or control anything. It's just him, raw, reflective, vulnerable, even if he'll never admit. You might think he's fine, but deep down, he's carrying 1,000 unsent messages, 100 unsaid words, and one truth he can't hide. He misses you. See, missing someone silently takes strength. It takes restraint not to call, not to chase, not to show weakness. But it also takes love. Because when a man don't care, he don't feel the silence. He moves on quick. But when he does care, that silence becomes heavy. It's filled with hope, with memory, with the wish that somehow you still think of him too. So, When a man goes quiet after you part ways, don't always assume he's forgotten. That silence might be the loudest proof that he hasn't. He's just feeling it in his own language, the quiet language of missing you without words, loving you without saying it, and remembering you in every space where your voice used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When a man's got feelings he can't say out loud, they always find a way to show up. Quiet, soft, and subtle. You might not notice it at first, but if you pay attention, those little gestures speak volumes. A man who's got you on his mind will start doing small things that don't look like much to anybody else. But to him, they're everything. Because when a man misses you, his pride might keep him from saying it. But his heart always finds another way to talk. He'll start checking your social media like it's the morning news. He ain't gonna like every post. Nah, he's smarter than that. But he'll look. He'll swirl through your pictures, reading every caption, watching your stories, waiting for a clue. He's wondering, is she okay? Is she happy? Does she miss me? He'll see you smiling and feel a mix of pride and pain because on one hand, he's glad you're shining, but on the other, he wishes he was part of that light. That's what missing somebody looks like when a man's too proud to admit it. It's those silent visits to your page, the late night scrolls through your timeline, the screenshots he won't ever show nobody. Sometimes he'll send a message out of nowhere. Just one line. Hey, what's up? Or, you've been good. Simple words, but you know what they mean. It took him an hour to type that message. He wrote it, deleted it, rewrote it again, stared at it, trying to find something casual to say when his heart's screaming, I miss you so bad. That text ain't just a text. It's a confession disguised as conversation. That's how men love silently. They don't say everything, but they hope you can read between the lines. And when he texts you late at night, oh, that's the truth hour. See, during the day, he can keep himself distracted. Work, friends, music, whatever. But at night, when everything gets quiet, that's when the thoughts get loud. That's when the memory of you comes knocking. So when you get that 11:45 p.m., hey stranger, text. That's not random. That's his heart talking in code. That's him saying, I can't sleep because you're on my mind. He might try to play it cool, act like he's just bored. But trust me, that man's heart is restless. You don't text somebody at midnight unless they still hold a piece of you. You ever notice how he'll bring up random things from the past? You'll be talking, and he'll say, remember that one time we got lost? Or, I still laugh about that song you used to play. He's not bringing that up by accident. That's a soft way of revisiting you, of saying, I remember because it mattered. Men don't hold on to random moments. They hold on to the ones that touched them. Every memory he brings up is a breadcrumb trail leading back to you. Sometimes the gestures ain't digital at all. Sometimes he'll drive by the spots you used to go together. Maybe it's that coffee shop you loved, or that park where y'all used to sit and talk. He might not even go in. Just drives by slow, looks at the door, and keeps going. But in that short drive, he's reliving a whole chapter of his life. That's a man missing you in motion. He doesn't need to say it because he's already living it through his habits, through the paths his feet still remember. And if he really misses you, you'll start to see it in how he moves. He'll check up on your friends, casually ask, how's she doing? Acting like he's just curious. But he's hoping to hear something about you. He might even offer to help them with something, just to stay close to your world. That's what men do when they can't be direct. They stay connected through little things. But this word of man, missing somebody isn't always about talking. It's about finding small ways to stay in the orbit of your life. Some men will use humor as their cover. They'll send a meme, a joke, a funny video. Nothing serious, but what they're really doing is testing the waters. They want to see if you'll laugh, if you'll reply, if there's still warmth between you. That meme ain't random. It's an invitation, a quiet knock at your door saying, I'm still here if you'll let me in. Because sometimes a joke is the safest way to say, I miss your energy. Even the silence between texts says something. When he waits to reply, when he leaves the message unread for a while, it's not always because he doesn't care. Sometimes he's just scared to say the wrong thing. He wants to respond, but he's overthinking every word, trying to balance between showing interest and not looking desperate. That pause, that hesitation, that's emotion wrestling with pride. That's the sound of missing you wrapped in restraint. You might see him post something that seems off. Maybe a quote, a song lyric, something about loyalty or timing. And you think, that sounds familiar. It is. That's his way of speaking to you indirectly. He's hoping you'll see it, maybe even react. He can't say it to you directly, but he's trying to send a signal out into the world, hoping you catch it. Because deep down, he's got something to say. He just doesn't know how to hand it to you without losing face. Men are emotional architects. They build with small actions. He might check your location on a shared app, keep the playlist you made, still wear the hoodie you left behind. Those are his quiet connections to you. They're not accidents, they're attachments. Every small thing he keeps is a message that says, you still matter. And when he finally reaches out, maybe after weeks or months, and says something simple like, I saw something that reminded me of you. That's not just small talk. That's a window opening after a long silence. That's his way of saying, I never stopped thinking about you. Men don't revisit something they've forgotten. They revisit what they can't let go of. So when a man starts showing up in those little ways, when his name keeps popping up, when his actions seem too specific to be random, don't ignore it. That's not coincidence, that's care. Those subtle gestures are where his real emotions live. He's not going to write a poem or send a speech, but he will like that photo from 3 months ago. He will text you at 2 p.m. He will check to see if you've moved on. And he will keep finding quiet ways to say what his pride won't let him speak. Because when a man truly misses you, his heart gets creative. It whispers through actions. It hides inside timing. It reveals itself in the smallest things. And if you pay attention, you'll realize that every subtle gesture is really him saying the same simple truth. I still care. I still think about you. And even in my silence, I still miss you. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you something about men that a lot of people don't always understand. That thing we carry like armor, it's both our strength and our weakness. Every man got a little bit of pride sitting in his chest. It's that voice that says, don't look soft, don't look weak, don't let nobody see you hurt. And because of that pride, there are men walking around every day with feelings they'll never say out loud. They'll miss you, they'll love you, they'll regret losing you. But they'll never admit it, because to them, admitting it feels like surrender. Men grow up being told that emotion equals weakness. From the time we're little boys, somebody's always saying, "Toughen up, stop crying, be a man." So what happens? We grow up learning how to hide instead of how to heal. We learn how to fix cars, pay bills, solve problems. But we never learn how to say, "I'm hurting." That pride builds up like a wall, and even when love is trying to get in or out, that wall stays standing. So when a man misses someone or feels something deeply, he'll sit with it quietly. He'll act like it doesn't bother him. He'll walk around looking strong, but inside, he's fighting his own heart. That pride keeps a man from picking up the phone. He'll look at your number 100 times, maybe even type the message, but he won't send it. He'll tell himself, "She's moved on," or "I'm going to be the one to look weak." But the truth is, he wants to talk. He just can't bring himself to do it. That pride whispers, "Don't chase her. If she cared, she'd reach out." And just like that, two people who care about each other stay silent. All because a man's pride won't let him take that first step. Sometimes that pride even shows up in arguments. A man could know he's wrong, but that pride won't let him say, "I'm sorry." He'll walk away instead. He'll act like he doesn't care, even though the moment you close that door, he feels it. His heart starts racing, his chest gets tight, but his pride keeps his mouth shut. He tells himself, "I'll wait until she calls first." But while he's waiting, time keeps moving, and that silence starts to stretch so far that it turns into distance. That's how good love gets lost. Not because the feelings disappeared, but because pride got louder than love. And let me tell you, pride don't just protect a man, it punishes him. It'll have him pretending to be fine when he's not. It'll have him showing up to work, cracking jokes with his boys. But the minute he's alone, that act falls apart. Because when a man really loves a woman and loses her because of pride, that pain runs deep. He'll replay every moment, every word he didn't say, and that regret will hit him harder than any heartbreak. But he still won't talk about it because in his mind, silence is strength. Men have this thing where they think vulnerability is dangerous. They think if they show too much emotion, people will use it against them. So they hide behind that pride like it's a shield. But the problem is that shield keeps out the very thing they need. Forgiveness, love. A man will rather look like he's in control than admit he's breaking. He'll rather lose the person he loves than risk being seen as weak. And that's the sad truth. Pride will have a man fighting the wrong battle. He's not fighting you. He's fighting himself. I've seen men let years pass by without saying what's in their hearts. They'll keep tabs on you quietly, hear about you from friends, maybe even see you happy with someone else. And that pride will still hold them back from saying, "I miss you." They'll tell themselves it's too late when deep down they know they'd give anything for just one more chance. But pride is stubborn. It doesn't let go easy. It'll keep a man stuck in silence, pretending to be fine while his heart still beats for somebody he never stopped loving. And ladies, let me say this. When you see a man go quiet after something real, don't always think he doesn't care. Sometimes that silence is his pride doing the talking. He wants to say he's sorry. He wants to tell you he misses you. But his pride keeps reminding him of every reason he shouldn't. He's scared you'll reject him. Scared you'll see through the tough act. So instead of reaching out, he holds back, hoping maybe time will fix what his pride broke. It's crazy because pride gives a man power on the outside, but it breaks him on the inside. It's that feeling that keeps his chin up in public, but keeps him awake at night in private. You'll never know how many men lay. They're staring at the ceiling, wishing they had just said what they felt when they had the chance. That's the battle we fight. Between the man we show the world and the man we are when no one's watching, sometimes pride ain't even about ego, it's about fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing control, fear of being vulnerable again. A man who's been hurt before will build that wall, even higher. He'll tell himself, I'm not going to get played again. I'm not going to let nobody see me fall apart. But in protecting himself, he ends up blocking the very love that could heal him. That's what pride does. It saves your image, but costs you your peace. So when a man stays silent, when he hides behind jokes, when he acts like he don't care, look deeper. There's a good chance that's just pride talking louder than his heart. Because the truth is, most men don't stop caring. They just stop showing it, thinking it makes them strong. But real strength ain't in silence. Real strength is in honesty, in being brave enough to say, I miss you. I messed up. I still care. Until a man learns that, pride will keep him quiet, even when his soul is screaming for love. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes love don't show up the way you expect it to. A lot of women are waiting for grand gestures. The roses, the romantic speeches, the picture perfect moments. And sure, those things are nice. But if you only look for love in big, flashy gestures, you might miss the real thing happening right in front of you. Because a good man, especially one who's not good with words, will show you his affection in small, quiet ways. And if you don't know how to recognize that, you might think he doesn't care, when really he's loving you the best way he knows how. You see, men have a different rhythm when it comes to love. Some men won't tell you every day, but they'll make sure your gas tank is full before you leave. They'll stay up late fixing something around the house that's been bothering you. They'll remember how you like your coffee or the way you take your eggs, and do it that way without you asking. That's affection. That's love disguised as responsibility, care wrapped in small actions. He's not showing off. He's showing up. And sometimes that's worth more than any bouquet of flowers. A woman who understands men learns to read the little signs. She knows that when he holds her hand in public, that's his way of saying, you're mine, and I'm proud of it. When he listens, even if he doesn't have all the right words, that's his heart trying to meet hers halfway. When he sits beside her quietly, not talking but present, that's peace. That's him saying, I just want to be near you. But if she's expecting constant words, she might miss how loud his actions really are. Sometimes affection ain't even physical. It's in protection. A man who loves you will care about your safety. He'll walk you to your car. He'll check if you made it home. He'll give you his jacket when it's cold. And some women, they brush it off like it's nothing. But that's a man's instinct to protect what he loves. That's not control when he says, text me when you get home. That's not just a line. That's him saying, I need to know you're safe because you matter to me. Now, ladies, let me tell you something important. Every man shows affection differently. Some men talk it, others live it. Some are loud with their love, others are quiet but consistent. The key is not to measure his love by your expectations, but by his effort. Pay attention to what he does naturally. If he's a fixer, he'll try to solve your problems. If he's a giver, he'll bring you little things that remind him of you. If he's a protector, he'll watch out for you when you don't notice. That's his version of, I care. You don't need him to act like another man. You just need to learn his language of love. The truth is, women sometimes overlook these small signs because they've been told love should be dramatic. Movies, social media, they make it seem like if he's not shouting from the rooftops, he's not real. But the realest love is quiet. It's the good morning text he sends before work. It's the way he notices when you're tired and tells you to rest. It's the way he touches your back when you walk into a room, subtle but full of meaning. It's in those details where his heart lies. I've seen women lose good men because they thought he wasn't expressive enough. But if you look closer, that man was doing everything right. Paying attention, keeping promises, showing up every single day. That's love. That's commitment. Not everybody is poetic with their words, but actions. Actions never lie. When a man consistently chooses you in his small habits, that's the real romance. And let me tell you, when a man loves you, he studies you. He might not say it, but he notices. He knows when something's wrong by the way you sigh. He knows what makes you laugh, what makes you glad, and he'll adjust his actions around that knowledge. That's affection in its purest form. Thoughtful, intentional, and quiet. So ladies, start asking, why doesn't he say it more? Start asking, how does he show it? Does he make time for you when he's tired? Does he include you in his plans? Does he look you like you're the only one in the room? Because love isn't always in the words. It's in the consistency. It's in the man who stays, who supports, who respects you in front of others and protects you behind closed doors. Those small gestures build a foundation stronger than any fancy declaration could. And remember this, some men are afraid of saying too much because they've been hurt before. They've opened up, been vulnerable, and it cost them. So now they let their actions do the talking. That's why you have to look at the effort, not just the expression. If he's trying, even in the smallest way, appreciate that. Encourage it. Because when a man feels seen for the small things, he'll start giving you the big ones too. Affection is not always grand. Sometimes it's gentle. It's in the way he remembers the details you forgot you mentioned. It's in the way he lets you talk about your dreams and never laughs at them. It's in the way he stands by you even when things get tough. Those moments may not trend on social media, but that's the kind of love that lasts. Because real affection isn't loud, it's loyal. And once you learn to notice it, you'll realize some men are saying, I love you. Every day. Not through words, but through everything they quietly do to make you feel safe, valued, and seen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. Love that stays locked inside is one of life's biggest tragedies. You can feel it, think about it, dream about it, but if you never speak it, it'll haunt you long after the moment's gone. See, people always talk about being strong in love, but real strength ain't about holding it in. Real strength is being brave enough to say how you feel while you still have the chance. Because love unspoken is love unfinished. We live in a world where people think silence means control. Everybody's trying to play it cool, keep their pride, hold back their hearts. But let me tell you, all that holding back don't make you strong. It makes you lonely. You can love somebody with everything in you. But if you never tell them, they'll never know. And one day, you'll wake up and realize the time to say, it has passed. That's a kind of pain that hits deep, because it's not about what you lost. It's about what you never had the courage to claim. A lot of men and women walk around with love sitting heavy on their hearts. They want to reach out and apologize. They want to say, I still care. But they keep waiting for the perfect moment. Let me tell you, there ain't no perfect moment. Time don't stop for nobody. While you're waiting for the right words, life is moving. People change, opportunities fade, hearts harden. Sometimes you think you'll get another chance, but you won't. So if you love somebody, say it. If you miss them, tell them. If they matter to you, let them know before them. Teaches you what silence can cost. I've seen too many people lose good love because they thought they had time. They thought, I call her tomorrow. I'll tell him when I see him again. But sometimes the call never happens. Sometimes the person you were too scared to speak to becomes the one you wish you had. Life has a way of reminding us that moments are temporary. People don't stay forever, and love that isn't spoken starts to fade, not because it dies naturally, but because silence starves it. It takes courage to be honest about your feelings. It takes courage to stand in front of someone and say, you mean something to me. People think strength is about hiding emotion, but it's the opposite. Weakness is letting fear and pride keep your mouth shut. Strength is saying what's real even when it scares you. Because love is risky. Every time you open up, you take a chance on getting hurt. But that's what makes it powerful. Love is supposed to stretch you, humble you, make you vulnerable. That's how you know it's real. It demands courage. You ever notice how people wait until it's too late to say what they feel? Somebody passes away, and suddenly everybody's talking about how much they love them. Or somebody moves on, and now you want to tell them how much they meant. Why do we wait until people are gone to speak the truth? Why not say it when they're here to hear it? Because love, when it's kept silent, turns into regret, and regret don't fade easy. You can't go back and rewrite the moment. All you can do is wish you'd been braver when it mattered. And I know sometimes love hurts. Sometimes you open your heart and it doesn't work out the way you hoped. But even then, there's power in speaking it. Because at least you'll know you tried. At least you'll know you didn't let fear keep you from living fully. Love unspoken is like a song never sung. It stays stuck inside you, echoing in the places where courage should have been. And over time, that silence becomes heavy. You start replaying conversations, imagining the different if you had just said what you felt. That's why I tell people, don't let pride be the reason you miss your blessing. Sometimes saying, I love you, it's about getting something back. It's about freeing yourself. It's about being true to your heart, no matter what the outcome is. You might tell someone you care, and they might not feel the same, but at least you'll have peace, because silence steals peace. It leaves you wondering, questioning, wishing. But when you speak your truth, you release that burden. You give your heart permission to breathe again. That's what real strength looks like. Not pretending you don't care, but being honest that you do. And for the men out there, brothers, let me talk to you for a second. I know we were raised to believe showing emotion is weakness. We were told to keep it together, to never let anyone see us vulnerable. But let me tell you, being too tough to speak love doesn't make you strong. It makes you silent in the moments that matter most. You can't wait forever thinking she'll know. She won't always know. You got to tell her. You got to look her in the eyes and say what you feel before life takes that chance away from you. Because no matter how strong you think you are, nothing hurts like wishing you had one more chance to tell somebody you love them. And ladies, the same goes for you. Sometimes you think he knows, but men ain't mind readers either. A soft word, a simple truth, a heartfelt. It goes further than you realize. Because love needs words, it needs confirmation, it needs courage. You can't assume someone knows what's in your heart. You got to speak it, live it, show it while you can. We always think we'll have time later. Later to apologize, later to confess, later to love right. But the truth is, time is silent and it moves fast. One day you'll look around and the people you took for granted will be memories. One day you'll wish you had said that one thing you kept inside. So don't wait. Don't hide behind fear or ego. Love out loud. Speak your truth, because time will run out. And when it does, it won't be your mistakes that hurt the most. It'll be your silence. So if there's somebody you love, tell them. If there's somebody you miss, reach out. If there's something you wish you had said, say it now. The strength in love isn't about staying silent to protect yourself. It's about having the heart to speak even when your voice shakes. That's what real courage looks like. That's what real love deserves.